This is UGREEN's latest Maxidok 17-in-1. You heard that right, 17-in-1 Thunderbolt 5 Super Dock, as how I would like to call it. And you may actually want to consider getting one yourself. Hi, it's Cheng here from Red35 and welcome back to my channel. Over the next few months, there will be a lot of changes, not only for my video style and also how I'm going to film stuff, but also, more importantly, I'm going to filming and working a lot more in my studio once it's all revamped and upgraded. Talk about upgrade, today's video is all about something that I recently acquired. And yeah, just basically give my overall workflow a super boost, so to speak. And if you're a working pro and also maybe you're working with a lot of large files and you're into the backend workflow to enhance your photographer life, well, this is the video for you. As you heard from the beginning, this UGREEN Maxidok 17-in-1 Thunderbolt 5 Super Dock is something that I've been looking for to test and even use for my workflow for quite some time, because first of all, I have been using this type of dock and also hubs for my workflow for the past 15 years. They are super useful, especially that I work with my laptop primarily, and I just hook everything up through the whatever ports the laptop gave me. But this is important because we have limited ports in the laptop, and that means that if I want to hook up a monitor, a printer, and all kinds of stuff, it's always going to be a little bit tricky. That's why I'm always looking for a dock that will provide me everything that I need. And more recently, I had the Elgato Thunderbolt 2 dock that I've been using for about 8 years now. But that, to be quite honest, recently broke. So I have been on the lookout for something newer and more powerful. I did have a Thunderbolt 3 dock that I was testing, but I never really wanted to use it because there were a couple of drawbacks from that particular dock. Because first of all, it didn't give me any sort of PD power at all. Secondly, the fan is super loud, so I didn't really want to use it. And so now I have the latest UGREEN Maxidok, and I'm finding it very, very impressive. Before I dive into the details of this super dock, let me talk a little bit about the unboxing experience from UGREEN. I have to say, it's phenomenal. We all know that we're going eco-drive these days. Everything is paper-based, you know, the boxing, everything. Like styrofoam is no longer something that we see very often in packaging. UGREEN managed to do a paper-based packaging in such a way that it looks like $1 million kind of piece. Is amazing. Everything is really solidly packed together. The presentation, once you open the box, is amazing. Everything is very well wrapped, and even all the accessories all packed into little boxes is really, really good. I think presentation wise, I have to give UGREEN a full mark, full stop. So this is what I always say about, you know, a lot of products from China these days. While they're going eco-friendly with every paper packaging, but they still manage to present it in a way that it just looks good and feels premium, unlike a lot of the European, even Western rivals. So this UGREEN Maxidok 17-in-1 flagship Thunderbolt 5 dock is personally one of my favorites, and perhaps if you're a demanding photographer like I am, needed a lot of data and power to power your computer, this will be my personal choice. UGREEN does offer other docks in the lineup, like for instance, the one down below from this flagship model, the 10-in-1 for instance, has a total power output of 140 watts. Well, it sounds really a lot, but the problem is, the upstream, it only offers 100 watts for a single port. Yes, while it works for most computers, I'm a maximum guy. Yes, I'm the maximum guy. I use the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which really needs 140 watts, yeah, to quickly charge up my computer, for instance. And the 17-in-1 is the only model that provides an upstream power of 140 watts. So this is really kind of my drawing point to this particular super dock here. So this, for me, it works very, very well. So if you are in a similar situation as me, needed 140 watt power, this 17-in-1 is probably the one to go for. But not only that, it offers a lot more ports, as the name suggests, 17-in-1 compared to 10-in-1, for instance. So it does have USB-A, USB-C, Thunderbolt ports, display ports, Ethernet ports, and also, listen to that, UHS 2 spec memory card slot, which I find a lot of options out there, including hubs, don't offer. And that's important because like I said, Everything's about speed, everything about transferring data. Even though that you may have all the peripherals hooked up to it, if your memory card reader is not fast enough, what really is the point? That would become the bottleneck, right? But luckily, this is a UHS-2 spec for both the micro SD and the SSD, allowing you up to 312 megabit per second. Really taking advantage of the speed of the card, and that is really critical. So everything from like importing all my video clips and also my photos to the Lightroom is super quick. So that is really important. Another cool thing about the 17-in-1 dock is the available M2 SSD slot at the bottom of the unit. And that means you can now install a SSD up to 8 terabyte into that slot and fully utilize the super wide bandwidth Thunderbolt 5 has to offer. Well, personally, I have the a 4 terabyte SSD that I purchased a couple of years ago. I've been using it as an external drive. It's using, I think, USB-C to my computer. The speed is just never quick. It's about 600-700 megabit per second. It's just nowhere near as far as what it is now. Okay, it's not the latest spec of SSD that you can get on the market. They can run up to 7,000-8,000 megabit per second, but I don't have one of those to test. But with my current SSD now, I plug it into the Maxidok. It now allows me to access it with over 2,000 megabit per second, and that is a significant jump for what I'm used to. So now I can actually scrub through my video way quicker, way better, even with multiple streams at the same time. I don't have to use proxy, and this is phenomenal. This is something that for a lot of video editors may not be aware. And similarly, if I plug into a Thunderbolt 5 hub, for instance, and like my Lightroom drive, and again, everything from import to export to really just looking at the files is a lot snappier, a lot quicker. Really, this is something that I didn't expect to see, but it does make a huge difference when it comes to working, because I no longer have to work with a much slower pace, and also in terms of like previewing stuff, everything just so much snappier and quicker. And it just almost feels like I already upgraded my whole system, even though I haven't upgraded my computer at all. It just feels a lot better. You're probably already aware of what a dock can do for you. For instance, you can just basically hook up one port to the dock, and then you can connect all kinds of peripherals to the dock, and everything works fine, right? To me, I think the difference between the Thunderbolt 5 technologies now compared to even Thunderbolt 4 is the super wide bandwidth and the power delivery, and everything you just supercharge. In the Thunderbolt 5 technology. I haven't upgraded my computer yet, which I will do in the next month or so. Once I have that, I will be able to see a major upgrade in speed, for instance. But overall, because of the bandwidth it provides, so I can really now utilize whatever the dock offered in the total bandwidth, like connecting with not only just monitors, but also, all my NAS system, the RAID drives, and also all the external drives. Absolutely everything, and still simultaneously moving file, transferring file, exporting, importing, all at the same time, basically up to whatever the computer can handle. And I think Thunderbolt 5 is really cool in that respect, and this is something that USB-C cannot match. Thunderbolt 5 is a consistent power and data delivery. So this is very different technologies altogether, and I like the consistency, especially I do, needed that kind of data bandwidth to work with multiple things at the same time. So this is really something. So Thunderbolt 5 is really great for that. And now it comes in a really super powerful dock, and also at the same time powering my computer. I don't think I can ask for more unless Thunderbolt 6 coming tomorrow. So this is it. This is UGREEN's Maxidok 17-in-1 Thunderbolt 5 dock quick review. I personally think that this is a really cool piece of technologies, and as a product itself, I really cannot complain. It is not very big. It's about the size of a Mac Mini, for instance. So it's not very big, but it provides a lot of power, a lot of compatibility to what I have already in the studio. But more importantly, it powers my laptop. It gives me all the bandwidth to transfer all kinds of data, whatever size it is. It's just so cool. And it looks good. Metallic gray with copper side, the heat management. Oh, the thermal management of this guy, I haven't even spoke about that, is really super cool. At the moment we're quite hit the summer, so the temperature is still relatively cool, but the stuff that I've been throwing at it does require a lot of heat generations from the chipsets and everything inside. So at the moment I think it's just done a very, very great job. I haven't seen any thermal throttling, for instance, so everything just run at full speed all the time. Even the heatsink from the M2 SSD slot from the bottom looks really, really cool. I mean, I think the overall execution of the product is second to none, if you ask me. And, you know, for a professional, demanding photographer and content creators on the market, I think this kind of unit is a critical thing for anyone who may want to upgrade. For instance, that's like you know, like if you've been using your dock or whatever technology you've been using for 2, 3, maybe 4 years, this would be a good upgrade for you. And for those who haven't really tried Thunderbolt hub before, if you want to hook up with any super speed stuff, this will also be something you may want to consider. If you don't need the 140 watt upstream power to power your laptop or charge your laptop, you can consider the smaller version as well, like the 10-in-1, maybe even something down the line, even smaller ones. Just have a go at it to see what you can achieve on the Thunderbolt 5 speed in terms of data transfer, because you may be surprised. Yeah, I'm not joking there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And like I said, I'm still upgrading my studio, so a lot of things will change, and also a lot of things you may see to be upgraded, because I'm upgrading my monitor. I'm also upgrading my NAS drives, RAID drives, everything. You know, I'm spending a lot of money trying to, you know, revamp my working life for the next 10 years. I'm future-proofing myself a little bit more now, you know, because the existing system's been a little bit long in the tooth now. Like I said already, I'm running a Thunderbolt 2 Elgato dock that recently died, but also have some of the older technologies that I think is probably time to upgrade as well. So a lot of things to consider, a lot of things I'm going to spend on, and hopefully I'm going to take you through this journey so you can see what I use to maximize the back end of my photographer's life. And this is something really important. It's easy to show you what's in front of it with my lens and camera reviews, but you know, the back end is also very important, especially if you're a very demanding photographer as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Remember, subscribe and see more of this, what I would call this new series, a new series of studio series. Anyway, you name it, I'll put it in. I will see you all very soon. Have a good day. Bye for now. Peace out.